Well, boys, we have a Premier League European Cup final kicking off right about now. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League, and this week it's going to be a Europa League look from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That is Brad up top. He supports Chelsea. Down below is Sean, the walking on eggshells, nervous as a wreck, Tottenham Hotspur supporter. How are you guys doing? Sean, how are the nerves?
The best way I've seen it put is the best way I would describe it myself. This is Manchester United in the year of the Lord 2024, 2025. So if we're 2-0 down, still feel like we can win it. But unfortunately, if we were 2 goals up, I still feel like we could lose it. So there's no resting until the final whistle.
Yeah. That's the thing about United is they are prone to leaking goals. That goalkeeper of theirs is not the best. But before we devote a larger than normal chunk of this podcast to the Europa League final, we are going to talk a couple of the implications from the results from round 37 of the Premier League. But even before we do that, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell if you're on YouTube. If you're on one of the podcast sites, hit it with a follow, 5-star review, subscribe, whatever your platform so allows. Those things help us out tremendously. When you listen to or watch to the end of the video or podcast, that also does feed the algorithm. And so that helps us out as well. And if you could hit that share button and send it to your friends who are soccer and or football loving people as well, we would appreciate that as well. Okay, so Premier League. Friday, Villa beat Spurs to keep their Champions League hopes alive. Chelsea beat United also to keep their Champions League hopes alive. Arsenal beat Newcastle on Sunday to dampen slightly Newcastle's hopes, but to guarantee Arsenal are now guaranteed to finish in the top 5. I believe the worst we could finish, I think, is third now. The worst we could finish is third. That would also require a tremendous goal differential overhaul. Right now, we have an 8-goal difference. We have 8 goals superior to City. So somehow Arsenal were able to lose against Southampton, and also City were to beat whoever they play this weekend, Fulham. And have an 8-goal swing in their favor, then they would overtake us. So Arsenal are basically second. And then City beat Bournemouth on Tuesday. So, yeah, things are looking good for City. Things are looking good for Newcastle at the moment, Chelsea, and those are the 5 that are in right now. There is some fluctuation that can happen on Championship Sunday, which we will get into the permutations on Friday's episode when we preview the final round of the Premier League. Other things happened. Liverpool lost, which is cool. But I don't. What, Brad?
What do you? Wait. Other things happened.
Yeah.
Other things happened. That's how we're going to talk about. And this wasn't in the rundown. This is how we're going to talk about the FA Cup and Crystal Palace winning their first trophy in over 100, like the history of the club.
In my defense, I was talking specifically about the Premier League. I was at some point going to transition to talk about the FA Cup final, but if you would like to, yeah, we can talk about that.
I did it. Yeah, I mean, like, what is this? If assuming today goes how Sean wishes it to go, we don't know. But assuming it's going that way, as we're in the 5th minute,
God, I hope I upload this on time.
Me too. Please hit that button so that's correct. Assuming that things are going accord, is this the first time a Manchester team hasn't won a trophy in like what 10 years?
Probably only because City have keep winning something, right?
That's the question. That's the question in the comments. How long do you think it's been that Manchester has not won a trophy in the season?
The city of Manchester. Okay, it's a good question. I don't know.
Because wow, let's go Palace.
Yeah,
Yes, we were all wrong, but let's go Palace.
tremendous result from Crystal Palace.
Yes,
Um,
and a spicy Europa League competitor now.
yeah, they've guaranteed themselves Europa League football for next year, so that's good for them. That'll it's always weird because Crystal Palace, we jokingly say that they like to get to 40 points and then vibe, so they never really quite get into the European qualification
Whatever
fight.
12th is where they
Yeah,
get to.
and so they got to 12th this year. They've been vibing in 12th, which doesn't get them in Europe, but then they just mess around them in the FA Cup, and so like good on them. They are going to have to expand their squad, and I think Glasner has come out and said that the board has said that they will expand the squad and sign some more players because having that extra competition really does put a big strain on your team. Not like you don't need like a 47 man roster or anything like that, but you definitely need to get up into the 24, 25.
Well, James, you haven't experienced this yet, but you do need a 47-person roster for the Conference League.
Oh,
You do
specifically.
100% of the time.
Got it.
Specifically the Conference League, but not Europa. No,
That way half the team can be in Serbia and half the team can stay home in England.
that's right. That's right.
Kazakhstan. I'll take your word to that. Where's the final for the Conference League, Brad?
They are playing in Poland's home stadium.
Okay.
Yes, that one.
The Poland national team stadium. So it's going to be a really nice stadium, actually.
Yeah.
And it's next week, I think.
Yes. We did have a curiosity in the RCR group text about why Tottenham left on Monday morning sharp. First thing in the morning, Tottenham were on the plane. Like, we're not flying from New York to Hawaii. We're not going around the world. We're talking about going from southern England to northern Spain. It's not jet lag. We're not changing time zones. We're not getting acclimated.
Yeah.
So it's on the north coast of Spain. It's not that far away.
I don't know if you know this or like you're probably not used to seeing teams in the finals. So like I hear you, but like there is something to be said to have a day or two of prep on that field. Be used to the hotel, be used to the drive to the stadium, and kind of get in that vibe. I know you guys aren't in finals a lot, but like there's something to be said for that part.
Well, they do have media responsibilities. They'll have the pregame press conference. Usually that's like 36 hours before the game. So that's Tuesday. Would have been probably like Tuesday morning, I would imagine. Yep. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate on the fact that maybe they wanted to train in Spain an extra day, which is fine. I mean, might as well get over there and get acclimated and get comfortable. I don't see a problem with it.
My thought was they need to be at Hotspur Way working on defending set pieces because we can't. So we got a lot of work to do that we don't need to be flying over there to check out the beach.
I'll be honest. I don't know the intricacies of Real Betis's no, it's not. Betis is Brad's opponent.
Yes.
It's not. Okay.
We're playing United in Bilbao, which is
that's a big guy you got to defend on set pieces. He's difficult.
We have to north coast of Spain. We're on the Bay of Biscayne.
All right, so let's break this down since we're here. Sean,
okay.
Where do you think Tottenham are vulnerable in this match? Set pieces and corners is clearly one.
Well, we've been awful at set pieces all year, so that's clearly a glaring hole. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's United or Bournemouth. It doesn't really matter. We've been horrendous at set pieces all year, so defending especially.
Yeah. Well, if it's Bournemouth, you'd have to deal with their very large center back. So
a lot of people, yeah. They're Vendevent's gonna play, so the high line's not as big of a worry as it sometimes is when it's Davies,
Because so speed.
Yeah. When you have the great eraser of speed, you can keep that high line, and as long as we can keep pressure on, I don't know that outside of Bruno they have the technical or mental wherewithal to withstand a press and be able to break it.
That Mason Mount hate is real.
Well, it's an interesting question, honestly,
Mason,
because
Mason Mount hasn't been good in 3 years. So
Mason
he
Mount's
looked
been injured for 3
he
years. He
looked
looked
decent against Chelsea.
against Chelsea.
He
Yeah,
looks
he
decent
did.
against Chelsea because that was one of the games that I turned on for at least a little while. Um, I don't know, like they've got Casemiro who has the ability to break a press. Um, I think
Ugarte? I don't
Ugarte,
know.
yeah, Ugarte is a fairly technical player. Mount,
Fernandez, Mason,
yeah, I don't know.
uh, Garnacho over the top.
Well, the problem is even if you get the ball over to Garnacho over the top, like he's not going to do anything with it. He is one of the most
Yeah.
wasteful, and just useless players on the ball. Like he gets the ball, he goes, and you're like, I don't ever think that he's going to score, right?
Yeah.
I think he is going to end up at Fiorentina next season in Serie A and score a bunch of goals or something like that, and everyone's going to be like, oh man, he's great. I can't believe United let go of him. But for some reason in England, he just can't do it. But like, I don't think that he's got a career in England personally.
You need space. Right. He's a player that needs space. Like,
But
and
he
you don't
gets
get that
space.
in
That's the problem. Is he gets space? Is my point. Is that like he constantly gets the ball over the top and is running in behind and just doesn't have. He's not a sharp enough, a quick enough thinker when he has the ball in certain situations to use it effectively, whether it's a pass or a shot.
Sure.
Like he always takes like an extra thought process, whatever it is, like an extra tick to decide what he's going to do, and then the uh, the situation has changed,
Right. And
and
he's running out of time.
he's run out of time, right? So like this is, I think, his biggest issue is that he doesn't make decisions fast enough. Um,
the Casemiro is a good call because I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Maybe dropping some trivia knowledge on your head here live on the podcast. Casemiro has never in his career lost a European final.
whoa,
So there you go,
Wow.
a little bit of knowledge.
Wow.
that's a great.
However,
that's a
on
great
the
statistic to
yes,
have.
yes. On the flip side, Onana has never won a European final that he has ever been in. So
I think
Yes. I heard that stat.
I think this is the biggest issue for Manchester
yin
United.
and yang.
And you heard Gary Neville kind of talk about this when he talked about it a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, is that when you look at the squads on paper and you compare Tottenham to United, almost none of the United players are getting into the Tottenham side. On paper, Tottenham have a superior squad. I think that that's
I agree with that.
fairly objective. You might say Fernandez could get in. You might say, I don't know.
I mean,
That
yeah,
might
he
be
probably
it.
does get enough Madison.
That might be it.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but yeah, like Casemiro 5 years ago, 4 years ago,
certainly, but not
yes,
Casemiro now.
absolutely. He's 38.
Yeah.
No, he's probably not getting in over Bentaker or Bergvall if he's healthy.
And then the problem that they have is they have Onana, and he is a calamity of errors waiting to happen. Like,
yeah,
I think my analytical brain tells me that Tottenham should win this game easily. Like I look at the teams on paper, I look at just like the eye test. Like when you watch Tottenham, they're trying to do something. They're not always the best at doing what they want to do, but they're trying to do something. I still don't know what Manchester United are doing when they're playing football. And maybe this is just an issue with personnel and system right now between what Amorim wants to do and what he's asking these players to do. And it's kind of maybe if you think back to like early Arteta, all they were doing were crossing the ball in because like that's they got the balls on the wings and they had nothing to do but cross the balls. I don't know. Maybe it's a player and strategy situation. But at least I watch Tottenham and they look like they want to accomplish something. And they have goals.
I mean, it's you've been playing under a manager for 2 years, right? So like you should have patterns of play. You should know
maybe that's all it is.
where everybody's going to be. And Amorim's had what, 4 months of chaos, 5 months of chaos.
I think I saw this that they have picked up 9 points
since he's come in.
Since he came in, they've played
that makes sense because
an astronomical number of games, and he's picked up 9 points in the league.
Yeah. Well, also like his style of play versus Ten Hag's are two very different styles of plays. Like they should have just let Ten Hag have the season.
I would love for you to try and break down Ten Hag's style of play, because that plagued us
I'm not
for
going
2.5
to,
years.
but
That
I'm not
plagued us for
going.
a while.
But Amram has a style of play. Sorry, Amram has a style of play. Let me say it that way. There you go.
On the
But go ahead, Sean, because then I have a question for you for like to
the
wrap.
on the on the field strategy of what we did that was successful in our two previous matchups this season with United. The on the field strategy was to have Kulusevski kind of play the 10, but a little dropped back, and play the ball through him through the middle instead of going up the wings, and have him play on the turn. I don't know. I'm not technical enough to know what reason for that, but instead of going out and around through the fullbacks and then up to the wingers, they were going out to the wingbacks and then playing it to Kulusevski for him to turn and then make a decision on where to play it out to. And it was highly, highly, highly successful both times.
Do you know?
But we don't have that.
Do you know off the top of your head if both Christian Eriksen and Casemiro were playing in those matches?
No, I don't. I don't remember who was playing for the other team. I can find that out.
Yeah,
but that was the play. Now we don't have Kulusevski or Madison, so I don't know that is going to be an option. I don't know if we have that player that can play on a turn like that and turn and make a decision quickly before he's closed down, or elude the player that's already on him with the turn. So that takes a little bit of skill from those two players. I don't know that we're going to be able to accomplish that strategy this time without those two players.
So, Brad, what's your question for him?
All right, Sean. Let's assume now that we're in like the 18th minute, let's assume that Tottenham win this game.
Okay.
Is Son a bigger club legend than Harry Kane?
Absolutely not.
I disagree. I 100% disagree.
You could. All right.
As club captain, he is lifting a European, not just like a Premier League, not an FA Cup, not a
Let's
not
put
a
some
Community
context.
Cup.
The Europa League is smaller than the Premier League. So if Tottenham were to win a Premier League, that would be bigger than.
But it's definitely bigger than an Audi Cup that Harry Kane lifted.
Yes, without question. I think the Europa League is on par with the FA Cup in terms of prestige for English teams.
Sure.
You could make an argument.
I'll make that argument.
You could make an argument. In my head, you got 1A and 1A is Premier League, Champions League. Those are even for Premier League teams. You could argue one or the other depending on who you are. But then the next tier down would be FA Cup, Europa League. Then you've got Carabao Cup and Conference League. Charity Shield is clearly at the very top.
100%.
Clearly at the very top.
The most important trophy there is. But okay, so he's listing a Class 2 trophy when Harry Kane did a trophy at FedEx.
My problem with this premise is something that we argue about frequently. I don't know that Son has a goal in the competition, period. So to say he, as the captain, was what the driving force club legend that led to this is so far-fetchedly wrong. And I'm not trying to put down Son. He is the captain. He's played in a good amount of these games. Great. I love Sonny. But to say he's the reason we won.
Here's my here's my question though. If
it were to be Kane and what Kane did for us, he was the reason we were winning. So in my mind, that is a higher club legend.
Okay.
But Son being on the team and on the roster when we win a trophy. That is two different categories of things.
In 3 to 5 years, when you forget about the stats and all you have is the picture of Heung-min Son holding that trophy up, fireworks going off, Spurs are the champions up there. Are you going to remember that he had one goal in the final? And you might remember he had a goal in the final, but you're going to remember that he had no other goals in the Europa League. This is
a little insulting to Heung-min Son, but you're basically asking me, is Sergio Reguilon a bigger club legend than Harry Kane? Because he's going to get a Europa medal also.
I mean, if you want
that's basically what you're asking me.
Well, hold on.
Son
No,
has
it's
it.
not.
Let's.
No,
I think
you're trying to take this to the ridiculous.
Brad's trying to put too much on this singular moment of the Europa League. But I think for the simple fact that Son wins a trophy while at Spurs,
As the captain.
does that put his legacy higher than Kane's? Because that was one thing Kane could never deliver. And if you think about it, while Kane was scoring all those goals for Tottenham, Son was also still scoring all those goals for Tottenham. And so it's not like
and assisting.
Yeah, and so it's not like Son was invisible while Kane was there. Son was right there with him doing the same things, maybe like slightly less goals. But like I think the question is who has a bigger legacy because Son will have done something that Kane had not. That I think is a better question than putting it singularly on this Europa League.
Okay,
I think you have to look at in totality. Because even that's a tough question, and I think you would
put it
struggle
that
with
way. It has to be considered in that light as well. So, but it'll all be for naught because there's no way we're winning the Champions League, the Europa anyway.
All right, so you got United winning it.
Yes, absolutely.
I think I'm taking Spurs. The Arsenal fan here is saying Spurs is going to win it.
I think. Do I care? I don't know.
With as much
I hope for the sake of a podcast, we run a soccer podcast. I hope you care enough.
I'm with you, but I have zero. There is
with as much as you're waffling, I think you do care because I think you want to. In your brain, I think you want to say Tottenham are going to win, but at the same time, you love this meme about Tottenham not winning trophies, and you love memeing on 3-point lane and all this stat about Tottenham. You want to appear as being this bulwark of anti-Tottenham sentiment.
Yeah, but I also hate United, right? Like let's not get it twisted. Like I don't.
That is a very good.
Either team win, but
that's a very good thing that we haven't really touched on. For you two, especially, these are your least two favorite teams.
Yes.
Almost ever. Well, other than you, so Chelsea. No, Chelsea's not included.
The most hatred for Chelsea any person can have.
Yes, I am not a culturally geographical Arsenal fan. I don't grow up in North London, so I don't have the same vitriol for Tottenham as local North London Arsenal fans do because I never have experienced that. And so yes, my hatred goes mainly Chelsea 1, United 2. So
So that's why you chose Spurs. Well, that makes sense.
They are a better team, and it doesn't matter to me Spurs. I don't care about Spurs.
I think I'm going to choose United. I'm choosing United. There, I said it. I'm choosing United for this. I would, yeah.
I don't care who wins.
I just want to be the only.
I think Tottenham will win.
Next week, the week after, once Conference League is done, and Chelsea are the only team on this podcast be holding up a trophy, I'm going to be the most obnoxious person ever. So I'm going United there.
Oh, for that purpose, I really hope Tottenham win now. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoy. You should turn it on. It's midway through the first half right now, and it's on Paramount Plus if you're in America. If you're in England, I have no idea what station's on. I can't help you. Get a VPN, go to America, get on Paramount Plus. That's where you can find it in America. But yeah, hit us up on social media. That guy up top is at KSBradG. Down below is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at Redcard_Radio. We will be back on Friday with the final preview of the Premier League season. It's round 38, Championship Sunday. Everything's kicking off 11 a.m. Eastern American time. Again, I think that's probably 3 o'clock England time. So check back with us on Friday. We will have that for you. And until then, I hope you have a good one. Enjoy the cup final, and we will talk to you again soon.